I work with leather. My material is my number one. I make art pieces, I make fashion pieces, and so this is one of the art pieces. It's some of my graduate work, and when I graduated from doing my Masters at London College of Fashion, I got so much publicity on this that I was asked to show at London Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, and make some commercial pieces. It's concept based about human trauma and recovery from that and human resilience. I make belts, jewellery and body pieces, and the abstract body pieces are kind of more closely related to the art pieces, but they are used by us as kind of the showpieces for the essence of the brand, for the fact that it's about empowering the wearer. And they're really good for publicity, so for celebrities wear these, and also I was pleasantly surprised to find that there were some clients out there who really want to wear it themselves, that are just strong female characters that have the confidence to wear those. So this is around, little tour around my studio. My leather, as I said, is my number one. I'm a bit of a boy, I guess. love all my DIY stuff, but we use all these for finishing and all the techniques that are applied to make these products. We've got a stock room where we've got press pieces that are sent out to different magazines to create publicity, and then we've got stock of the pieces that we sell, so we have private appointments sometimes in our studio. And a bit about my background: I'm from Roscommon. This is me in my idyllic growing up. My mum and dad had a guest house, so I was introduced to loads of interesting people when I was growing up, one of them being this painter from America, Lynn Yansha, who did really nice paintings. This is some of my early work. This is me in school. I wasn't very happy. That's not me. So I got out of school and started on my creative journey. I did a degree at Limerick's School of Art and Design. And during that time I did 3-year diploma, took a year out and did some internships. Basically I grew up a little bit. I kind of found my feet and my place in the world and came back a lot more confident and had more direction, and learned skills of leather working for the first time at Shane Design, and then went over to work with Philip Tracy and learned about applying sculptural products to the body, which is what I'm still doing now. Then I come back and had definitely more of a direction in my work. These are some of the roles that I had, different companies I was in. And then I decided to go back to study again and do a master's specialising in leatherworking. So this is some of my work. That was at London College of Fashion. So the course is called Fashion Artifact, and it was about creating pieces that sit as comfortably on the body as they do in a gallery environment. So it was very much about craftsmanship. We'll say somebody goes through a traumatic experience, so it was the bringing together of my interest in leatherwork and craft, and my interest in psychology, my application to the body, and an artist kind of mindset and technique. So I was looking at medieval war armour as a visual representation of emotional barriers that people can set up having been through a traumatic experience. And there were a lot more things to it and different kind of tangents of that, but that was kind of the essence of what the visual outcome was. Then I was thinking about how people can trap themselves within these, ironically, and so that's why the pieces that I produced ended up being really like cocoons trapping people within. So that was the final collection, and I made sure to photograph the pieces both on the body and in a static environment so that they would actually be appreciated in both worlds. And it was a really crucial decision that I was making at the time, because it actually did end up being understood in both contexts, and there were several of my classmates who did excellent work but only photographed it either on the body or off the body and were never recognised in the other field. Then these are the images of it on the body as well. So when I graduated, I had massive loans, and the recession had just kicked in a few months before, so I was officially unemployed again. So I got a job in a shop to pay my rent, $6.50 an hour, would come home in the evenings and do another 8-hour shift getting publicity on my graduate work, because I was like, I've done so much and I was really happy with the outcome that I was like, I'm not keeping it under wraps. So I just applied for every award that I could find. I just spent a lot of time on the internet researching, applying for everything. And as a result, these are some of the places where I uploaded my work. As a result, I won the Future Makers Awards, 2 of the awards from the Design and Crafts Council of Ireland, which really helped me. These are some of the early publicity that I got from that late nights of work and being a terrible employee and arriving in late every morning to my shop job because I didn't really care about it, just to pay my bills. But yeah, so brand supporters were hugely important for me. This was one of the competitions that I applied for, the ITS competition. Future Map was in London, the ITS competition is in Italy. But as a result, I made amazing contacts and people that still support me today, like the editor of Vogue Italia, who then invited me to show at Milan Fashion Week, which I wouldn't have been able to go to without the support of the Design and Crafts Council of Ireland. And that was at the time where there wasn't any recognition or support from any government body for the area of design. And I was telling some people earlier, I remember ringing up everybody, going, all the different kind of government organisations, saying, I've been invited by Vogue Italia to show at Milan Fashion Week, have you any funding to help me? And everybody passed the buck. No, that's not our remit, this is, somebody else, that's Enterprise Ireland, you need to contact her, or it's the councils you need to contact her, the Arts Council. And I sat on a park bench in the park beside my part-time job, and I literally cried into my hands because I had this incredible opportunity and nobody supporting. So I was really glad when the Crafts Council of Ireland at the time became the Design and Crafts Council of Ireland, and that was now being recognised. And I think it's important and probably helped to put this event in place, the fact that recognition for design is and creativity is now being supported. I got support from the Centre for Fashion Enterprise in London. In the UK, they give mentoring to young fashion brands. So this is just some branding that I was helped to develop, because it's key to fashion business and to any business. You need to know what you're actually trying to do in the world, what you're trying to say to the world. And so once you have articulated that to yourself, you use that language through social media, through your photography that you use to create your imagery, through the documents that you print to show the world this is what we stand for. So it was really educational. Photography of the collections is key as well, and I learned lessons the hard way, I guess, from screwing up sometimes. Because the pieces are made from leather, basically, I just wanted to showcase the pieces I made. I didn't want to showcase somebody else's clothing from a high street store with it. I just wanted to show this is what I make. But because there was no clothes and it's made from leather and there's metal, what do you think everybody thought? Oh, it's to do with sex. Well, honestly, just get out of your little box, people. It's not to do with sex. If you want to use it for that, I don't care. But that wasn't the intention. It's about making sculptural pieces that are to be worn and styled by the shopper themselves, by the customer. So you wear something flowing with this shoulder piece that's tough, and you've got a really interesting juxtaposition of soft and tough. I love kind of pushing people to think a little bit out of what we're programmed by the media or society or whatever. We're led to believe these things. Actually step back and think for yourself. That's what I'm trying to do with the concepts behind the collections and that. This collection actually was it was about my interest in why do we need religion at all? Why is human nature driven to think we need something outside of ourselves? And my fascination just with human nature and psychology means that in each collection there's something to do with thinking about our own human behaviours. This one's more commercial, aimed at helping the customer to actually style their outfits. This is back to kind of my art background, and this is the most recent. So some of those are actually in the window of Brent Thomas. These are some shows that we've done, some of the stockists that we now have all over the world. I basically have to keep my fingers in loads of pies to keep food on the plate, ironically. I would eat the pies if I could. So this is one of the costume jobs that I've had. So the arm brace worn by Katniss Everdeen. Then I've made neck pieces and belts for the Hunger Games Mockingjay. Some pieces for an opera in Innsbruck in Austria. This is the most recent. Beverly Knight is starring in the West End show, The Bodyguard, which just opened last week. So I got to see it, and it was amazing to see my pieces on stage. It was fantastic, very exciting. This is a personal project, our first advert, which was a project that was pitched to me, in fact, by a guy I studied with in Limerick School of Art and Design 17 years ago. It's a long time ago anyway. John Hawke is his name, and he's been assistant director on several things like Vikings and different projects like that, and he wanted to do his own project. So when he saw my graduate work, he was really inspired to pitch this project. So we've got Windmill Lane doing special effects on it at the moment. Pull the Trigger are producing it. It was filmed in Ardmore Studios. So yeah, it's a really exciting project, so that's to launch soon. Exhibitions and figurative art. So sometimes you do an exhibition, you go, oh, that was a really nice evening, but I'm not sure anything happened from it. But then sometimes I've gotten commissions out of it. So, you know, within a week you've gone from no money in the bank to 5,000 because you've made a piece, one piece. But that comes few and far between, so that's why we keep the fingers in all the other pies as well. This is a project with Show Studio in London, and as a result of that, Philip Lim, the internationally renowned New York-based fashion designer, commissioned the piece on the right for his New York apartment. He's building up his own private art collection. So, and on the left, you've got a piece commissioned by Daphne Guinness, who's a fashion icon. This is the building of that piece where I built life-size puppet and we animated it. This is the most recent exhibition that we had in Dubai, where we had fashion pieces and art pieces on exhibit. It was really interesting, especially in a market like that where the woman's place in society is very different to our kind of culture. Okay, so association with fashion icons and public personalities, it's what everybody recognises when they meet me. Or they know I'm coming and doing something. It's always mentioned the celebrity, and I was very reluctant to be into that, but honestly, if it sells the handbags and the belts and the bracelets, you just go with it. So yeah, that was Bad Blood. Nicki Minaj and Rihanna. She's wearing the pink piece that I said I made. So these are all celebrities: Madonna, JLS, and I like when guys wear them as well, because we've been doing more bracelets that guys can wear too. So design collaborations are a very good way of cross-contamination of ideas. It's really amazing chemistry that can happen from two creative minds together, and you can end up tapping into each other's database of contacts and ideas and suppliers, and it's really, I love collaborations. This one allowed me to make pieces for men as well as women, and also work with much brighter colours than I had worked with previously. This is for a shop in Hong Kong. This was one with Irish Handmade Glass Company, and it was for an exhibition at London Design Festival. Then this is with the lingerie company. So I felt after a while of being established within the fine art and luxury design areas that I was happy to go into lingerie kind of area then, but just knowing, because if you go into the fetish market first, then it's hard to establish yourself in the high fashion market, whereas I felt like if you do it the other way around, it's kind of an easier route, even though I turned down a lot of opportunities. This is with a couture brand in London, and Tatum Jones have just won the International Woolmark Prize, which was won in the past by people like Karl Lagerfeld and YSL. So basically they're an amazing brand to be working with, and I'm going to continue to collaborate with them. These are future projects. Swarovski, Maui especially, I need to have a few meetings when I go back to London. I do a lot of teaching as well all over the UK, and I have done internationally as well, and I do some workshops in my studio. We do rentals and commissions for hair shows, which are on every year. We've got our online shop for online sales, which have been increasing in the last while, which is good, and we we use social media a lot. Like, because I did that mentoring with the Centre for Fashion Enterprise, I now know how to do my social media. I'm more educated, and it's very, very important. Then advertising, I've loaned pieces to NARS, Daphne Guinness wearing it, Goldwell hair company, and Lexus. That was the most recent collaboration, which was, well, kind of big corporate collaboration, where they gave me the leather that they use in their cars, in their CT car, and then I used my construction techniques and leatherworking techniques to produce a dress, which was used in, you can see it on our website, it was in an advert, and then they also did a behind the scenes video, which was really key to showing the world what it is that we're about. So it was free publicity, and we got paid for the dress, and you're associated with a premium brand, and it was shown on the Guardian website and in the Guardian newspaper. These are a list of the facilities that we would need if we were to base our business in Ireland. Studio space, leather machinery are really important to have an airport nearby, access to students or graduates for work placements and potential staff, good Wi-Fi coverage, can't do without it. I would need to be able to teach in a university or get involved in the film industry to do costume work. Competitively priced couriers are actually, that's an issue that you wouldn't think it should hold a company back, but it actually can stop a company being based in the west of Ireland. Access to tech facilities, laser cutting, vacuum forming, 3D printing would be an extra bonus and would help me to move creatively forward with the business. If we could get some of the bus tours to come around this neck of the woods, it would be really good. If you check on any websites, if you Google Bus Tour Ireland, they go from Dublin, Galway and down around the south, or they go from Dublin up to Belfast down to Galway. Why exactly is the northwest being ignored? Funding to aid export, yeah, I would need that too. Access to specialist workshop. We have access to suppliers of leather, tools and metal fittings, but I've spoken with all of them and they're happy to ship to Ireland if I'm based here. Space, potential for chance meetings with influential individuals via local networking events. I ended up running into somebody from the British Council at an Irish fashion exhibition, and she ended up sending me to the Philippines to judge a fashion competition over there, and she also organised for me to go to Ballaghdereen University in Istanbul to speak at a fashion conference there. So those kind of things are important. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, thank you.